What if I told you that one of the most powerful women in media built her empire by following a blueprint written nearly a century ago? What if the secret behind Oprah Winfrey's extraordinary rise from poverty to becoming a billionaire wasn't luck, timing, or even talent alone, but rather her unconscious adherence to a specific set of principles that most people have never truly understood? The truth is far more fascinating than you might imagine, and it reveals something profound about the nature of success itself. Picture this: a young woman from rural Mississippi, born into circumstances that would have crushed most dreams before they even began to form. Yet somehow, she discovered a path that would lead her to influence millions of lives, accumulate unprecedented wealth, and build a media empire that continues to shape culture decades later. But here's what nobody talks about. Her journey wasn't random. Every major decision, every breakthrough moment, every strategic move she made aligned perfectly with the 13 fundamental principles outlined by Napoleon Hill in his groundbreaking work on success philosophy. The connection runs deeper than coincidence. While the world watched Oprah transform from a local news anchor to a global phenomenon, few recognized that she was unconsciously implementing a systematic approach to achievement that had been hidden in plain sight for generations. These weren't just motivational concepts or feel-good philosophies. They were precise, actionable principles that, when properly understood and applied, create an almost inevitable path to extraordinary success. Most people read about success principles but never truly embody them. They understand the concepts intellectually, but fail to integrate them into their daily decisions, their relationships, and their long-term vision. Oprah did something different. She didn't just learn these principles. She lived them so completely that they became inseparable from her identity. This distinction explains why her success wasn't just financial or professional, but transformational in ways that continue to ripple through society. What you're about to discover will challenge everything you think you know about building wealth, influence, and lasting impact. This isn't another surface-level analysis of celebrity success or a collection of inspirational quotes. This is a deep dive into the hidden mechanics of achievement, revealed through the lens of one woman's extraordinary journey and the timeless principles that guided her path. By the end of this exploration, you'll understand not just how Oprah built her empire, but how these same principles can reshape your own trajectory in ways you never thought possible. The first principle that shaped Oprah's destiny was her unwavering commitment to a definite major purpose, though she might not have called it that at the time. From her earliest days in media, she possessed something that set her apart from every other television personality of her era, a clear vision of what she wanted to accomplish that went far beyond personal fame or financial gain. While others in the industry focused on ratings and advertising revenue, Oprah understood that her true purpose was to create meaningful connections with people and help them discover their own potential. This clarity of purpose became her North Star, guiding every major decision throughout her career. When she was offered the chance to host a morning talk show in Chicago, she didn't just see it as a stepping stone to bigger opportunities. She recognized it as a platform to fulfill her deeper mission of inspiring and empowering others. This perspective transformed what could have been just another television program into something unprecedented, a daily gathering where authentic human stories took center stage. The power of her definite purpose revealed itself in how she approached each show. Rather than following the sensationalized format that dominated daytime television, she consistently chose topics and guests that aligned with her vision of uplifting human consciousness. This wasn't always the easy path. It would have been simpler to chase ratings with controversial content, but her commitment to her purpose created a magnetic quality that drew viewers seeking something more meaningful than typical entertainment. What made her purpose so powerful was its specificity and emotional resonance. She wasn't just trying to be successful or famous. She was driven by a deep desire to help people live better lives. This clarity attracted the right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances with an almost supernatural consistency. Publishers, producers, and business partners who shared her vision began to gravitate toward her orbit, creating a momentum that accelerated her success exponentially. The financial rewards followed naturally because her purpose aligned with a genuine human need. When you solve real problems for real people with authentic intention, wealth becomes a byproduct rather than an elusive goal. Oprah's empire didn't grow through aggressive self-promotion or manipulative tactics. It expanded because millions of people found genuine value in what she offered. This distinction explains why her success has been so sustainable, and why her influence continues to grow even as she steps back from daily television. Her commitment to purpose also protected her from the distractions that derail many ambitious people. When faced with opportunities that didn't align with her mission, she had the clarity to say no, even when those opportunities promised immediate financial gain. This discipline allowed her to build something coherent and meaningful, rather than just accumulating random achievements. Every project, every investment, every partnership was evaluated through the lens of her definite purpose. The lesson here goes beyond career strategy. It reveals how purpose becomes an organizing principle for an entire life. When your daily actions align with your deepest convictions, you tap into a source of energy and persistence that can overcome almost any obstacle. Oprah's journey demonstrates that success isn't about working harder or being more talented than others. It's about finding your unique contribution to the world and committing to it so completely that the universe seems to conspire in your favor. The second principle that shaped Oprah's extraordinary journey was her unshakable faith in both herself and her vision, even when external circumstances suggested that her dreams were impossible. Growing up in poverty in rural Mississippi, surrounded by limited opportunities and societal barriers, she could have easily accepted the limitations that others placed on her future. Instead, she developed an internal conviction that her current circumstances were temporary and that her destiny lay far beyond what anyone around her could imagine. This faith wasn't blind optimism or wishful thinking. It was a deep, cellular-level belief that she was meant for something greater. When she moved to Nashville to live with her father, she didn't just hope for better opportunities. She expected them. This expectation shaped how she carried herself, how she prepared for possibilities, and how she responded to setbacks. When rejection or failure occurred, she interpreted these experiences as course corrections rather than confirmation of her limitations. The transformative power of her faith became evident during her early career challenges. When she was demoted from her first anchor position in Baltimore, a devastating blow that might have crushed someone else's confidence, she maintained her belief that this setback was preparing her for something better. This perspective allowed her to learn from the experience without being defined by it. She studied what went wrong, improved her skills, and remained open to new opportunities with the same enthusiasm she had before the disappointment. Her faith also manifested in her willingness to take calculated risks that others considered foolish. When she decided to syndicate her talk show nationally, many industry experts doubted whether a black woman could succeed in that arena. The conventional wisdom suggested that her appeal was limited to specific demographics and geographic regions. But Oprah's faith in her message and her connection with audiences transcended these artificial boundaries. She understood that human emotions and the desire for authentic connection don't recognize demographic categories. This unwavering belief in her vision attracted people who shared her confidence and were willing to bet on her success. Her production team, business partners, and investors were drawn to her certainty about her future. When you possess genuine faith in your path, it becomes contagious. Others begin to see possibilities that they might have missed otherwise. This created a self-reinforcing cycle where her faith attracted resources, which validated her faith, which attracted even more resources. The financial implications of her faith were staggering. When she negotiated ownership of her show rather than just accepting a salary, she demonstrated a level of confidence that shocked industry veterans. Most performers were content to be employees. Oprah envisioned herself as an owner and operator. This shift in perspective, driven by her faith in her own capabilities, transformed her from a well-paid employee into a business empire builder. The difference in financial outcomes was measured in hundreds of millions of dollars. Her faith also sustained her through the inevitable criticism and backlash that comes with high-profile success. When competitors questioned her methods or critics attacked her influence, she remained focused on her mission rather than getting distracted by external opinions. This emotional resilience, rooted in deep faith, allowed her to maintain the consistency and authenticity that became her trademark. She understood that external validation was nice, but not necessary. Her faith provided the internal validation that sustained her through any storm. The third principle that distinguished Oprah's approach was her relentless pursuit of specialized knowledge in areas that directly supported her mission and amplified her impact. While many people in the entertainment industry focused solely on performance skills or industry networking, she understood that true influence required deep expertise in human psychology, communication, and the subjects that mattered most to her audience. This commitment to continuous learning became one of her most valuable competitive advantages. Her knowledge wasn't academic or theoretical. It was practical and immediately applicable to her work. She studied the art of interviewing with the intensity of a graduate student, learning not just how to ask good questions, but how to create an environment where people felt safe to share their deepest truths. She understood that her success depended on her ability to facilitate authentic human connection, so she made this her area of specialized expertise. This focus set her apart from other talk show hosts who relied primarily on entertainment value or sensationalism. The depth of her knowledge in personal development and human potential became legendary. She didn't just interview authors and experts. She absorbed their teachings and integrated them into her own understanding. When she recommended a book or endorsed a concept, her audience knew that she had personally explored the material and found it valuable. This authenticity created trust that translated into enormous influence. When Oprah recommended something, millions of people took action. Her specialized knowledge also extended to business and media strategy. While she maintained her focus on content and audience connection, she also developed sophisticated understanding of the commercial aspects of her industry. She learned how television advertising worked, how book publishing functioned, and how media properties could be leveraged to create multiple revenue streams. This knowledge allowed her to make strategic decisions that maximized both her impact and her financial returns. The compound effect of her learning became evident in how she approached new ventures. When she launched her magazine, she didn't just rely on her fame. She applied her deep knowledge of what her audience wanted and needed. When she started her television network, she used her understanding of programming and audience development to create content that reflected her values while remaining commercially viable. Each new project benefited from decades of accumulated specialized knowledge. Her approach to learning was systematic and purposeful. She didn't just consume information randomly. She focused on knowledge that directly enhanced her ability to serve her audience and achieve her goals. This strategic approach to education allowed her to become genuinely expert in her chosen fields, rather than just superficially familiar with many topics. The depth of her knowledge became a source of confidence and credibility that couldn't be faked or imitated. The financial impact of her specialized knowledge was enormous. Her expertise in human psychology and communication allowed her to create content that resonated deeply with audiences, leading to higher ratings and more valuable advertising relationships. Her business knowledge enabled her to negotiate better deals and structure more profitable ventures. Her understanding of publishing and media helped her identify opportunities that others missed. Knowledge became a multiplier that amplified every other aspect of her success. The fourth principle that shaped Oprah's empire was her extraordinary ability to envision possibilities that others couldn't see, and then bring those visions into reality through creative application of her resources and influence. Her imagination wasn't just about dreaming big. It was about seeing specific opportunities and developing detailed plans to manifest them. This creative vision became one of her most powerful tools for building wealth and influence beyond what conventional wisdom suggested was possible. Her imaginative capacity revealed itself early in her career when she began to envision television as something more than just entertainment. While others saw talk shows as vehicles for ratings and advertising revenue, she imagined them as platforms for human transformation and social change. This vision led her to create content that served multiple purposes simultaneously, entertaining audiences while educating them, building her brand while improving lives, generating profits while advancing important causes. The scope of her imagination became evident in how she approached business opportunities. When she considered launching her own magazine, she didn't just think about competing with existing publications. She envisioned creating something entirely new that would serve her audience in ways that no other magazine could. This vision led to the development of content strategies, design approaches, and distribution methods that reflected her unique perspective and values. The result was a publication that felt authentically connected to her brand while serving a genuine market need. Her creative vision also manifested in her approach to media ownership and control. Rather than accepting the traditional model where performers are employees of media companies, she imagined a different structure where she would own and control her content. This vision required her to develop new business models, negotiate unprecedented deals, and take financial risks that others considered excessive. But her imagination allowed her to see the long-term value of ownership, even when the immediate costs were significant. The power of her imaginative thinking became most apparent in her ability to identify and develop talent. She could see potential in people that others overlooked, and she had the vision to create opportunities that allowed that potential to flourish. This ability to spot and nurture talent became one of her most valuable assets, creating a network of successful people who remained connected to her brand and vision throughout their careers. Her imagination also extended to problem-solving and crisis management. When faced with challenges that seemed insurmountable, she consistently found creative solutions that turned obstacles into opportunities. This ability to reframe problems and discover unexpected solutions allowed her to navigate the complex world of media and business with remarkable success. Her creative approach to problem-solving became a model for others in her industry. The financial implications of her imaginative vision were staggering. Her ability to see opportunities that others missed led to investments and ventures that generated enormous returns. Her creative approach to business development allowed her to build multiple revenue streams from single concepts. Her vision of media ownership and control created wealth that far exceeded what she could have achieved as a traditional employee. Imagination became the foundation for building an empire that continues to grow and evolve. The fifth principle that distinguished Oprah's approach was her systematic method of transforming vision into reality through organized planning and strategic execution. While many people have great ideas and ambitious dreams, she developed the discipline and methodology to translate her imagination into concrete action plans that could be implemented consistently over time. This organizational capability became one of her most valuable competitive advantages in building a sustainable empire. Her planning process wasn't just about setting goals. It was about creating comprehensive strategies that addressed every aspect of her vision. When she decided to syndicate her talk show nationally, she didn't just hope for the best. She developed detailed plans for content development, audience building, advertiser relationships, and distribution strategies. This thorough approach ensured that she was prepared for the challenges and opportunities that came with expansion. The sophistication of her planning became evident in how she approached new ventures. Each project was supported by extensive research, market analysis, and strategic thinking. She assembled teams of experts who could contribute specialized knowledge to the planning process, ensuring that her decisions were based on comprehensive information rather than just intuition or optimism. This methodical approach reduced risks and increased the likelihood of success for each new initiative. Her organizational skills also manifested in her approach to personal development and skill building. She created systematic plans for improving her interviewing techniques, expanding her knowledge base, and developing her business acumen. This wasn't random self-improvement. It was strategic development designed to enhance her ability to achieve her specific goals. The consistency of her improvement over time reflected the power of organized planning applied to personal growth. The financial discipline that accompanied her planning was equally impressive. She developed budgets, investment strategies, and revenue projections that guided her business decisions. This financial planning allowed her to take calculated risks while maintaining the security needed to survive setbacks. Her ability to balance aggressive growth with prudent financial management became a model for building sustainable wealth. Her planning also included contingency strategies for dealing with potential problems and obstacles. Rather than assuming everything would go smoothly, she prepared for various scenarios and developed response plans that could be implemented quickly if needed. This preparedness allowed her to navigate crises and challenges with confidence, maintaining her momentum even when external circumstances became difficult. The compound effect of her organized planning became evident in how each success built upon previous achievements. Her early planning created foundations that supported larger opportunities, which in turn provided resources for even more ambitious projects. This systematic approach to growth created a momentum that accelerated over time, leading to exponential rather than linear expansion of her influence and wealth. The sixth principle that shaped Oprah's extraordinary success was her ability to make decisive choices and take immediate action when opportunities presented themselves. While many people hesitate, analyze endlessly, or wait for perfect conditions, she developed the confidence and systems necessary to act quickly and decisively when the timing was right. This capacity for decisive action became one of her most valuable competitive advantages in the fast-moving world of media and business. Her decisiveness revealed itself in pivotal moments throughout her career. When she was offered the opportunity to host a morning show in Chicago, she didn't agonize over the decision or negotiate endlessly about terms. She recognized the potential and committed quickly. This willingness to act decisively when opportunities aligned with her vision allowed her to seize possibilities that others missed while they were still deliberating. The quality of her decision-making process was equally important. She didn't act impulsively or without consideration. She had developed the ability to quickly evaluate opportunities against her core criteria and make sound judgments under pressure. This skill came from years of experience, extensive preparation, and deep understanding of her own values and objectives. When the moment came to act, she was ready. Her decisive nature also manifested in her approach to business partnerships and investments. When she identified opportunities that aligned with her vision, she moved quickly to secure them. This aggressiveness in pursuing the right opportunities, combined with her ability to recognize value that others missed, led to some of her most profitable ventures. Her speed in making decisions often gave her first-mover advantages in competitive markets. The courage required for decisive action was particularly evident in her most significant career transitions. When she decided to leave Baltimore for Chicago, when she chose to syndicate her show nationally, when she launched her own production company. Each of these moves required her to act decisively despite uncertainty about the outcomes. Her willingness to embrace calculated risks and act on her convictions separated her from more cautious competitors. Her decisive action also extended to her approach to problems and challenges. When issues arose in her business or personal life, she addressed them directly and quickly, rather than hoping they would resolve themselves. This proactive approach prevented small problems from becoming major crises and maintained the momentum of her various projects and ventures. The compound effect of her decisive action created a reputation for reliability and effectiveness that attracted better opportunities and stronger partners. People knew that when they presented opportunities to Oprah, she would evaluate them quickly and respond definitively. This reputation for decisiveness made her a preferred partner for major deals and prestigious projects throughout her career. The seventh and perhaps most crucial principle that enabled Oprah's extraordinary success was her unwavering persistence in the face of obstacles, setbacks, and criticism. Her journey from poverty to becoming one of the most influential people in the world required her to overcome challenges that would have stopped most people in their tracks. This persistence wasn't just stubbornness. It was a refined ability to maintain focus on her goals while adapting her strategies based on feedback and changing circumstances. Her persistence was most evident during the early years of her career when she faced numerous rejections and setbacks. When she was told she was too emotional for television news, she didn't abandon her media aspirations. She found ways to make her emotional intelligence an asset rather than a liability. When she was demoted from her first anchor position, she used the experience to develop better skills and stronger resilience. Each setback became a learning opportunity that strengthened her resolve. The sophistication of her persistence became apparent in how she handled criticism and controversy throughout her career. Rather than being defensive or reactive, she developed the ability to extract valuable feedback from criticism while maintaining confidence in her core vision. This balance between receptiveness and resilience allowed her to continuously improve while staying true to her fundamental values and objectives. Her persistence also manifested in her approach to building her business empire. Creating a media company from scratch required her to overcome countless obstacles, from financing challenges to regulatory hurdles to competitive pressures. Each barrier required sustained effort and creative problem-solving over extended periods. Her ability to maintain momentum through these extended challenges was crucial to her ultimate success. The financial implications of her persistence were enormous. Many of her most profitable ventures required years of development and refinement before they became successful. Her willingness to invest time, energy, and resources in projects that didn't provide immediate returns allowed her to build assets that generated wealth for decades. This long-term perspective, supported by persistent effort, created the foundation for sustainable financial success. Her persistence also enabled her to build and maintain relationships that became invaluable over time. In an industry known for superficial connections and temporary alliances, she invested consistently in deep, authentic relationships with colleagues, partners, and mentors. These relationships provided support during difficult times and opportunities during periods of growth. Her persistent investment in human connections created a network that amplified her individual efforts. The compound effect of her persistence became evident in how her reputation and influence grew over time. Each year of consistent effort, authentic service, and reliable performance built upon previous years, creating a momentum that became almost unstoppable. Her persistence transformed her from an individual performer into an institutional force that continues to shape culture and commerce long after her daily show ended. The convergence of these 7 principles in Oprah's life created something far more powerful than the sum of their individual effects. Her definite purpose provided direction, her faith supplied the energy, her specialized knowledge gave her tools, her imagination revealed possibilities, her organized planning created pathways, her decisive action seized opportunities, and her persistence overcame obstacles. Together, these principles formed a systematic approach to achievement that transformed not just her own life, but the lives of millions of people around the world. What makes this revelation so profound is that these principles aren't exclusive to Oprah or to people born with extraordinary circumstances. They represent a universal blueprint for success that can be applied by anyone willing to commit to their systematic implementation. The genius of Napoleon Hill's original insights lay not in their complexity, but in their accessibility to ordinary people with extraordinary determination. Oprah's story demonstrates that these principles work not because they're magical, but because they're rooted in fundamental truths about human psychology and the nature of achievement. The financial empire she built serves as compelling evidence of these principles in action, but the money was never the true measure of her success. Her real achievement was the transformation of consciousness that occurred in her audience and in herself. She proved that wealth and influence can be tools for positive change rather than just personal gratification. Her empire became a platform for elevating human potential on a scale that had never been achieved before in media history. The most remarkable aspect of her journey is how naturally these principles flowed together once she committed to them fully. She didn't consciously study Napoleon Hill's work and then systematically apply each principle. She intuitively understood what success required and lived these truths so completely that they became inseparable from her identity. This organic integration of success principles created an authenticity that couldn't be manufactured or imitated, which explains why her influence has been so enduring and profound. The invitation implicit in her story is both simple and revolutionary. These same principles that guided her extraordinary journey are available to anyone willing to embrace them with the same depth and commitment. The question isn't whether these principles work. Oprah's empire stands as irrefutable proof of their power. The question is whether you're ready to apply them with the same integrity, persistence, and vision that transformed a young woman from Mississippi into one of the most influential people in modern history. If this exploration has sparked something within you, if you feel that familiar stirring of possibility that comes when truth resonates with your deepest aspirations, then consider taking the next step in your own journey. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Join our community of people committed to applying these principles in their own lives, and begin the systematic development of your own definite purpose. The principles that built Oprah's empire are waiting for you to claim them. The only question is whether you'll have the courage to begin.